Well, the tannery's been here forever. Nobody really knows when it started, which is not unusual because every village had its own tannery and every town used to have 2 or 3, because all hide skins that were slaughtered, or the animals that were slaughtered locally, were tanned locally. There was no moving them. Historically, oak bark was the tannage used in England. Virtually everything was tanned by oak bark here because there was a lot of oak. And that's the way tannages in various countries have started. I mean, in south of France and Italy it was chestnut, but in England it was oak bark. So we buy in the raw hides. They were West Country hides, so they come from mostly from Devon. They would come into us salted to preserve them. And the first process we're going to do is dehair them. And then they're ready, they're what we call a pelt then. They're ready to go to the tan yard. Now we take them down to the tan yard and we'll wash out the lime from the surface. So they've got a clean surface and then they go into the tan yard. Now, the tanning process here is an oak bark tanning process. So our raw material is oak bark. It's stripped from trees during the spring, summer, dried and then brought down to us, and we keep it for 2 or 3 years till it's dried right out. And then we'll grind it down into small pieces about 2 to 3 inches long, and then we soak the tan out of that. Very much like making tea, but we're using cold water. Now when that tan is strong enough, we pump it up to the top of the tan yard. Now the yard is split into 72 pits. So the top of the yard has the strong liquors, and each week that will be coming back a pit at a time. So it gets to the bottom of the yard, it's still slightly tannic, still slightly acid, and the new hides will come into that weak liquor, and they will then go each week from pit to pit, gradually working up the yard for the first 3 months. They're suspended on sticks for the first 3 months, hanging down in the pit. That allows the tan to get all the way around them. That gives a nice even colour and a nice even tannage. But after 3 months we take them off the sticks and we're going to layer them so they get laid flat, one on top of the other, into deeper pits, and we throw handfuls of oak bark in between each one, so it's like an enormous sandwich. And they're going to be in those pits for another 9 months, so the whole process is going to take 12 months. So they all get a summer and a winter in the tan yard, and by the end of that process they'll be fully tanned. So the raw hide will be converted into leather, and it's a process that you can't reverse, so you can't soak it out and it become a raw hide again. So it is then leather. At the end of the 12 months, take the hides out of the pits, and then we'll drain them off for 2 or 3 days, and then they're ready to go on for finishing. The drawback to oak bark is it's very slow tannage. I mean, it is a 12-month tannage, but it does produce a very strong tensile strength. It's very hard wearing if it's going to be sole leather, and it's light weighing as well. So if you put it on a shoe, you're not waving around on the end of your foot a large sort of lump. The reason we're still using it is because possibly we got left behind, but also there is still a market for it, particularly at the top end. With shoes and increasingly with leather goods, we find the demand for the top end has improved, and we can make our margins.